I'm going to give a brief overview of something that is good practice when you're using a computer. I know in this day and age that people are getting hacked all the time and there's a lot of scammy emails going around. There's a new thing going over where they try to hijack your session on your computer, which means if you're logged into certain accounts and they steal that data, they can actually get into your accounts without actually having to log in. So there's all these things you need to watch now. And one thing I've noticed working in IT is that older people especially don't seem to understand the security concerns when it comes to passwords. I've seen so many people where they have a password that's just their name and their birthday, or it's password 1234 or something really basic like that. And if they actually have a more complicated password, they generally just have the same password for everything. That's a great way of setting yourself up to get hacked and exploited and having your identity stolen or your money go missing. So I had this problem because I'm a programmer. I actually used to put stuff on GitHub. So that's a repository for programmers where they can put their source code. It's just like I use it as just like an off-site backup thing. So these are the days before you could actually privatize that data. And I had a big oversight where I actually put my Gmail password on there. So luckily somebody let me know that and I fixed it up straight away. But before I could actually do that, I noticed someone had gone through and deleted hundreds of my emails and was just fooling around with all my Gmail stuff. And I did have a lot of passwords stored in Gmail, from 10 years ago or so. So I spent probably the next 2 days going through every single place that I logged into and changing the password. So that took days to do because I've got accounts with hundreds of different websites and suppliers and businesses and stuff like that. So what I do now is I use a thing called the Password Manager. So it's a little thing that sits in your browser. I use one called Bitwarden. There's also another one called LastPass and another one called 1Password. So I just use Bitwarden because I heard LastPass got hacked, and I used to use those, so I just probably trust Bitwarden a bit better now. So a note about these password managers, they don't actually store your password at all. The way these password managers work is when you log in, they create a hash of the data and then your password becomes like the key and then they encrypt your data that way. So it's a non-reversible solution. So even if somebody hacked these password manager sites and they actually got your data, it's still completely useless to them because without your password, there's pretty much no way they can reverse engineer it to get your real data, which is your passwords. So when you use a password manager, it's very, very important to use a strong password. So once you use a strong password, you can put everything in these password managers and be fairly confident that no one's going to hack anything. And the other thing is, for every single, I know this is a pain, but for every single utility and website and business and your Gmail and your Outlook, all that, have a completely separate password for all of them. So if someone does manage to get your password, it's only going to be good against one website. So all these password managers, they have a thing for generating passwords. So I will create like a 12 character or a 16 character password, or you can go all out and create a 32 character password of random numbers, symbols and letters of upper and lowercase. So that's the best one. So the passwords that I use is so unreadable that I couldn't possibly remember even one of them. So that's exactly how I like it. So it's going to be hard for everyone else as well to guess it, or almost impossible. So the reason I'm mentioning this is going to be a great stress reliever, especially when you're older and you're always worried about, especially if someone gets onto your bank somehow and takes all your money. I mean, that can be devastating. You want to, give yourself a bit of peace of mind by doing these type of things. So I'm actually going to go one step further, and I'm going to get myself a security key, which is a bit like an RSA token. So it's a little bit of hardware, like it looks like a little USB stick, and you stick it in your computer, and when you press a button on it, it activates a passphrase, which you then get permission to log on to, say, Google or any of the websites you set it up for. The big advantage for that is it's virtually hack-proof. So, because the hacker would actually need your hardware to actually get that key, and because they're remote, it's virtually impossible to steal your account. You know, when you have accounts that have two-factor authentication, where they send you a 6-digit number to your phone, for instance, those type of messages are unencrypted at all. So if anyone's using some sort of a program to track this stuff, they can actually see what your security keys are. So I hope this is useful for someone and gives you a bit of an idea to think about starting to do this thing. It's not if you get hacked, it's when you get hacked. So I hope you have a good one. Bye.